Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Kentucky is known for several animals like chicken, horses, and feral hogs. We'll explain in a bit. And we take a look at the train derailment last week in Rockcastle County with a rail safety expert.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6 a.m. on November 29th. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And Brandon, you said it earlier, it is frigid out there, and I can confirm. I was
Here's
shivering.
the thing too. Exactly. Here's the thing too. And I heard you've got a dress on. That was a mistake. That's right. But here's the thing too. There's no wind chill. It's just cold.
It's crazy.
So
everyone needs a jacket today.
Exactly. Exactly. Make sure you're bundled up. I-75 at Mount Vernon there this morning as we head out the door. Not too bad as we head to the first port of your day. We're going to continue to see the possibility for a little bit of cold air sweeping through. Speaking of cold air, there it is. 22 in Prestonsburg. That is the warmest spot in the region. Yep, 20 is the forecast low at 7 o'clock at Jackson. Now, I know you're seeing a lot of teens out there, but we forecast for Jackson, which is where the official reporting station is. So, again, that's why you're seeing a big difference out there. And I mentioned Sheltered Valleys. We're going to get a little colder. I didn't realize they'd get this cold, but they got pretty cold out there overnight. So, a lot of coffee needed this morning as you head out the door. And, of course, you're going to need to give yourself an extra few minutes to scrape those windshields off if your cars were left outside. If they weren't, warm them up anyway because it's going to be one of those cold days. We're looking at the weather app and you're going to see the possibility for lots of sunshine today. That's going to take us up pretty quickly and should take us up into the upper 40s by the time it's all said and done later on. Olivia?
Brandon, thank you. One of the most destructive invasive species can cause some problems in Kentucky, but it's not exactly what you would think. Alexa Minton spoke with experts to learn more about feral hogs in the Commonwealth.
While some pigs might look cute, feral hogs are an invasive species wreaking havoc in some parts of the U.S.
They're a smart critter. And if you don't really work at trying to control them and control the population, they can cause some major damage.
Feral hogs have been reported officially in at least 35 states, with Kentucky ranking in the top 15 for problem pig locations. In a study done by a hunting and fishing platform called Captain Experiences, Kentucky has 310 reports of feral pigs present in 81 counties across the Commonwealth. They tend to eat food sources for other wildlife, like deer, forcing them out of the region and sometimes damaging crops in the process.
They can be a real serious competitor and cause economic loss. It's a real pain. It's a real pain, and they're really, really intelligent animals. So trying to control them is a real challenge where it's been attempted in other parts of the country.
The goal of agencies like Kentucky Fish and Wildlife is to control the animal, and folks are encouraged not to shoot or hunt the pigs, as that can hurt their containment objective.
If you hunt them, you normally make it really difficult to try to get rid of the animals from the area because they become so wary of people that control becomes a real difficult issue. That's why most agencies kind of discourage hunting if we need to control them to keep them from causing major damage.
If you come across one of these hogs on your property, report your sighting to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife to keep your property and your neighborhood safe.
The intelligence of the animal and the abilities of what they have, their tusks, their rooting behavior, they can cause serious economic damage. They can really do a number, especially in agricultural property, causing, financial loss.
For WKYT, I'm First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton.
The number to report a feral hog can be found on the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife website, along with more information about how to spot a wild pig and its damage. Kentucky Power has lowered a proposed rate hike after pushback, but many say it is still too much. The utility company initially asked for an 18% increase in monthly bills, but the Kentucky Lantern reports that was lessened to 10%. Some elected officials and others say it is still a financial burden. The PSC still has to approve the tentative settlement agreement. A long multi-state police chase ended in Rowan County. Police say Rodney Sears led them on a nearly 90-mile chase at 3 in the morning yesterday, and he was driving a stolen Huntington, West Virginia police cruiser. The pursuit took them into Rowan County. Court documents show there were 2 fully functioning firearms in the car when it was stolen. Troopers say Sears abandoned the car on I-64 and tried to run, but they were able to catch him. It's been nearly a week since a failed wheel bearing caused a train derailment in Livingston, which caused a chemical fire and evacuations of residents. Michael Callanan, a rail safety expert and former conductor with CSX and Amtrak, says he wants to know more about the rail car in question and its maintenance records.
It's mandatory that these trains, before they leave their initial terminal, when the train is put together, that a car inspector walks the whole train and inspects it and signs off on it. I think the federal government should obviously take more measures to promote safety within the rail industry.
CSX tells the Associated Press that the last hot bearing detector the train passed was 21 miles back. The train derailed 2 miles shy from the next detector. Across the CSX network in the eastern part of the country, those detectors are typically about 15 miles apart. However, on less traveled routes that don't include passenger traffic, they can be further apart, like in this case. Shaping Our Appalachian Region is working to help connect Appalachian households with adequate internet connections, joining hands with the FCC to bring more Eastern Kentuckians to the table. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more.
A collaboration all about connecting communities.
And we've all heard stories of families going to local fast food restaurants and the parking lots of libraries to be able to connect to Wi-Fi. And so, you know, connectivity is no longer like this luxury. It is a necessity.
Shaping Our Appalachian Region is working to promote the Federal Communications Commission's Affordable Connectivity Program, which offers eligible households up to $30 off of their internet services for new and existing internet users.
What we're able to do with this program is create greater awareness around not just the Affordable Connectivity Program, but how we want households to leverage better connectivity or connectivity to improve their quality of life.
The program, which awarded SOAR $500,000 to spread the word, fits in line with the organization's digital equity team, hoping to provide resources and education to connect the region.
It's not just about connectivity. Again, it's what can we do with connectivity to improve the lives of those, in Eastern Kentucky.
COO Josh Ball says the digital equity team is hitting the ground to inform people of the potential discounts, saying it goes beyond Wi-Fi.
I think this is part of it. A connected Eastern Kentucky gets us closer to that Eastern Kentucky where opportunities are endless.
Forming the future, fiber by fiber. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Ball says there is a specific list of eligibilities, but as long as you meet one of those specifications, you can apply for the program. You can see a list of those on our website or contact SOAR at 888-760-4227. Hunter Biden is willing to testify on Capitol Hill in December, according to his attorneys. Lawyers for the president's son told the House Oversight Committee that he is available to testify on December 13th, but only if he can do so publicly. The committee's goal is to determine whether the president committed an impeachable offense in connection to his family's foreign business dealings. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer of Kentucky says an offer from Hunter Biden to testify before Congress does not satisfy a subpoena. That subpoena was sent by the committee in an impeachment inquiry into Hunter Biden's father, President Joe Biden. Comer wants a closed-door meeting with Hunter Biden before the committee. Hunter Biden says he would testify publicly, but says closed-door sessions can be manipulated into one-side narratives about what is said. The chairman of the Kentucky Republican Party is stepping down after an 8-year tenure. Mack Brown said it's time for him to step down from the chairmanship to allow new and fresh leadership to take the party to the next level. State GOP officials have not given a timeline for choosing his successor.
Coming up on 6:10 here on this Wednesday morning, and we're seeing some cold temperatures across the region. Hindman, the Kentucky Mesonet camera, actually 5 miles north of Hindman there in Knott County. You see, again, one of our warmer spots on the Mesonet, but still a pretty cold morning out there to start us off. Looking at that field there, 20 in Pikeville. That's exactly what it was on Hindman earlier at the Mesonet Tensor. 21 Jackson, 21 in Hazard as well. And then everybody else except for Prestonsburg, which is the warmest spot in the region at 22. Right back into the teens this morning. Now, for the next few hours, we're going to head up. Lots of sunshine today. Sunrise 7:27, sunset 5:16, and that sun will take us up to about 47 later this afternoon. A slow warming trend as we get ready to wrap up November on a dry note. Sorry about that. Back and forth rain chances, though, will take us into December and for the first weekend of that as well. Olivia?
Thank you, Brandon, and thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we return, another round of hostages were released on day 5 of the temporary truce between Israel and Hamas, and now lawmakers are working to bring home detained Americans.